Video 5 Hazard Communication. Welcome. One of the most important parts of hazard communication is your right to know. You have a right to know exactly which chemicals you're working with and what their risks are. So that goes from handling and storage protocols, what gear you need to wear, what are the emergencies if something should spill or it gets on you. You need to be educated how to properly use those, and there should be a written program of what to use them with. Safety data sheets are where we get that information from. A safety data sheet either comes with the product or you can find it online, and this is for not for general consumers. This is a specialty paper or a document that's going to tell you how to use that chemical. It talks about the hazards, and it has the proper directions on how to handle it, what the risks are, and what to do if anything happens. You can find safety data sheets online, or oftentimes they'll come with products. Key factors on safety data sheets is what we call pictograms. These are small pictures that have been adopted worldwide to communicate specialty hazards. So there might be something that we recognize, like the skull and crossbones. I mean, we recognize that from old timey cartoons, it's on the poison jug, to something that's a little less familiar, like the little person, the head and the chest that has almost like a star coming out from the middle, which is health hazard. There could be environment toxicity. The one directly in the middle is a fish, a dead fish with a tree. That means if you dumped it into the environment, it could be very poisonous. There's flames, which I think is pretty self-explanatory that it's flammable. It's easy to start it on fire. There's flame over circle, which is a very specific type of fire that can happen with chemicals. So here's a safety data sheet. Safety data sheets are designed to have specific areas 1 through 16 where you can find the same information on every safety data sheet. It's a pretty common product. We use it at home, and it's very common in many healthcare settings, which is bleach. So this is Clorox disinfecting bleach, which is really what they tend to have is their more medical type. So the safety data sheet has the identification of the product first, the company. It even has emergency telephone numbers if one has questions about what's on the safety data sheet. The second area is hazard identification. So this is where we can zone right in on that pictogram. And that pictogram, you can look right at it. It's corrosion. It's like an acid pouring on a hand. It even says right below that, there's a danger signal word, and it causes skin irritation and serious eye damage. We're going to skip ahead a few sections, and we're going to go down to number 8, which is the exposure controls and personal protection. So bleach actually has an STEL, and we'll review that when we're talking about formaldehyde standards, but it's really about how much you're breathing. And good ventilation, up to 10 air changes per hour, should be used even when using bleach. The next paragraph is personal protective equipment. So it says when you are handling bleach, you should wear safety glasses with side shields. You should use rubber gloves if you're using it for a longer period of time. And if there are exposures that are higher than the STEL, you may need to wear a NEOSH approved respirator. So these are all recommendations for bleach, which sometimes is a little shocking because we might not necessarily use that when we're cleaning. But I know for me, I use eye protection when I'm cleaning. So here's a chemical that I found online. It's a bottle of frigid arterial fluid. And if you look at the bottle, even from far away, you can see the pictograms across the bottom. So if you know the pictograms, you know exactly the risks of this product. So the first pictogram is skull and crossbones. If you drank this, it would be toxic, it would be deadly. Next one is health hazard. It can mean carcinogen, which means causes cancer. Then there's corrosion, which looks like the acid vial on the hand, and that can mean serious skin irritation, eye irritation. We saw that on bleach. And then lastly, flame. This product would be extremely flammable. You would want special storage and no flames anywhere near it. So you can see just by knowing the pictograms, you can pick up a bottle of any chemical and instantly know what risks that chemical can cause. Formaldehyde risks. There's immune system activation, so it can trigger an immune response. There's respiratory distress, so that may be people not feeling like they're able to breathe or trigger an asthma attack or even cause people to develop asthma in the first place. It can cause serious discomfort to the eye and eye inflammation. So that's why wearing goggles or safety glasses is part of the PPE. Can cause skin reactions like rashes and burns. And again, one of the most serious complications is exposure at the wrong levels without protection can cause cancer. With the OSHA formaldehyde standard, limiting time is a way that we limit formaldehyde using the time weighted average or the short term exposure limit. We also want to reduce the amount. So that might be using formaldehyde at certain concentrations, with formaldehyde in lower concentrations with glutaraldehyde, and having really extensive ventilation protocols. And then the other part of the formaldehyde standard is hazard communication, which we've been talking about with pictograms. The hazard communication standard requires that these signs be posted, that formaldehyde is a serious irritant and a potential hazard for cancer, and only authorized personnel should be in the area where the formaldehyde is being used and stored. And this is important to post if you work in a facility that has viewing as well as body preparation. They need to be very separate areas of the building. And then right on the front of it, you can see that it has that pictogram. It has the health hazard pictogram, which its first line is carcinogen, which means it can cause cancer. Let's say there's an accident and you spill some formaldehyde. A bottle gets opened incorrectly. Spill kits are required. This is a go-to box or kit that has all the proper things in it to be able to clean the hazard immediately. You're going to have a respirator, gloves, goggles, and the reason why you would have these separate and ready to go in a kit is if there was a spill, like a large amount, you wouldn't want to have to go running around looking for the right respirator or the right goggles. You want to be able to grab this kit off the shelf and start cleaning it up instantly so people are not exposed. They can be pre made. People just put them together with the proper things, or you can purchase ones online. And they may have special powders or special chemicals that you can add to the spill to be able to neutralize it. And an important part of spill kits is isolation, having absorbent towels or tubing that can put on the floor that can keep it from spreading out and getting on everything. Crematory communications. In the crematorium side, you'll see signs that are going to indicate what dangers are there very clearly. Operator must never place a body part underneath the door. It has no pictogram because it's not a hazardous chemical. This is just a work practice to keep you safe. Hearing protection. Depending on how loud the machinery is, the fans, the flames, you may have to wear hearing protection, and of course, burn hazard will most likely be many places. You finished hazard communication. Great. I will see you in video 6.